Good morning, everybody. Yeah, time to wake up, people. You're sleeping in if you're still in bed. This is the Two Dumb Yinzers episode 486. What's up, Big
Ooh.
Mike?
Oh man, I'm jazzed, pumped, and ready to go.
Jazz pumped and ready to go,
Yeah, I'm
huh?
wired, dude. I've had a monster, I've had an express or like a coffee, now another coffee, all in a span of like 8 hours. I'm fired up.
Derpy, he's kind of here. He texted me a
I'm
little
here.
bit ago. Are you here?
Yep, I'm here.
Did you already accomplish what you needed to accomplish?
Yes.
All right. Derpy got a hold of me a little bit ago, and he was like, "I'm gonna be a couple minutes late." And then when I came in, he's usually talking away.
Yeah.
And he wasn't talking today, so I didn't know if he was here. But Derpy is in the house. Good morning, Derpy.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah. Well, guys, I do want to start by saying this. I want to talk a little bit about these these Buffalo Bills real quick and how the football gods work in funny ways. I was thinking last night, guys, it was literally 44 yards
Mm-hmm.
that the Tyler Bass missed a field goal. It was 44 yards on the field goal missed back in the
No
90s
way.
too.
No way.
Exactly.
No way.
Come on. I here listen. They could have lost this game in many different ways. Many different ways. They could have fumbled the ball away. Josh Allen could have certainly thrown an interception, something that he's been prone to do. They could have in many different ways. This team could have lost this football game. I'm just saying, guys, what's the chances? What's the chances? What's the chances that he misses that field goal to the right, like Scott Norwood did from 44 yards out after they mess with the terrible towel? I'm still stuck on this, guys. I'm convinced 100% that it is the terrible towel that did this.
I believe so too. You don't mess with the terrible towel. You let your fans wipe their ass with the terrible towel. You know what the football gods are going to say? You know what? You're going to say wide right from the exact distance.
The football gods are funny. I mean they're fair, but they're
They
also
are.
funny because I mean, come on, you couldn't have written that any better.
You kind of the script writers are on point, man. Ever since the writer strike ended, this season has actually picked up. There's been more drama.
Oh, absolutely. It's been unbelievable with the drama this year and just all the bizarre things that are going on in the in the football world, especially in the NFL. I'm just like I said, I cannot believe the more and more I think about it, the same exact situation, guys. 44 yards out, wide right. And this has this has the fingerprints of the football gods all over it.
It does. The football gods are, you know what? The football gods tell you don't mess with the terrible towel, and teams and fans keep messing with the terrible towel. This is what's going to happen, and I'm here for it.
Everybody thinks they're bigger than the terrible towel. Nobody's bigger than the terrible towel.
No one is. No one.
Maybe
No
New
one.
England. New England in their day could have probably shit on
Yeah.
the terrible towel and it would have been just okay. It would have been fine.
Yeah.
And
Tom Brady could have desecrated that thing, and that the football gods would be like, hey, you know what? It's Tom Brady.
we would have just had to live with it. It is what it is.
Yeah.
And so there you have it, guys. A couple other things about this Buffalo Bills team. The guy's name was Connor McGovern. If you want somebody to hate from the
Yep.
Buffalo Bills and you want a
That's a
bad
name.
guy and you want a villain, Connor McGovern was the offensive lineman that slugged Joey Porter Jr. in the back of the head, knocked him out with concussion, and didn't get a penalty called. And the more I go back and I watch this play, it's even more obvious that it's a penalty every time I see it.
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt. It was like it's the, you know, literally is the blindside block that is outlawed in this league. You know, it's a farce, it's a joke. He should have been fined, should have been flagged, and should have been fined.
So there you have it. The scumbag organization, which is the Buffalo Bills organization. And let me get even more into the scumbags that we're dealing with in Buffalo here. Tyler Bass, of course, misses this field goal,
Mm-hmm.
loses the team the game,
That
which we don't know.
sucks.
I mean, they could have made it, and they could have also, and they could have still won, but or they could have made it and still lost. But Tyler Bass, he has deactivated all of his social media accounts after receiving harassment and death threats over his missed kick. Yes, it does have Tommy Maddox written all over. We did throw garbage in his yard back in 02-03 when we lost the game. But come on, this Bills fan base and organization, they got what they deserved, in my opinion. They're home watching the Super Bowl. They're home watching the championship games from the couch, and this is where they belong. As you were saying yesterday about the Detroit fans are kind of getting on your nerves, and I get that. Believe me, I really do.
Buffalo fans
they're irritating me too at this point. But you know what? Buffalo fans are really bad, Mike. They're really bad.
They are. Like, everyone likes to laugh. Bills Mafia, Bills Mafia. They just like to have fun. But then they do something like this. They're death threats to the kicker. Not Diggs, who had the pass sail through his hand. It's one of the greatest deep balls I've ever seen thrown. Not, Josh Allen saying, fuck it, chuck it. I'm throwing it deep after the 2-minute warning to the middle of the field when no one's there. Not him, but the kicker. There's nothing more low class than going after the kicker. That shows you have no football knowledge. You're going to blame the kicker.
Yeah. So this Buffalo Bills team, again, this is what it was last year. Remember I said something last year. They pissed me off at the last moment. I kind of turned on them. They did it to me again this year. It's their fan base. They're fucking morons.
They are.
For a team that's never won anything. Again, this team has never, ever won anything. All they did since they've been a team was choked. That is, and I kind of got, and I didn't get into it, but there was a comment on something that I had posted the other day, and it's, they made a comment about, well, how, the Steelers have been choking for 15 years. Well, guess what? The Steelers choked less than everybody else. If in fact that we have more championships than everybody, that tells you that we choked less than everybody else. Yeah.
In my lifetime, I've seen the Steelers make 4 Super Bowls and win 2 of them. Buffalo, how many have they made? 4. How many have they won? 0. I'll take 2-2 over 0-4, and you will lose them straight. Have we lived up to expectations in the past?
That's even harder to do.
No, I would think, but you know what?
I would think losing
championships.
4 championships in a row would actually be harder to do than winning one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
you want to talk about choke artist? Look at
accomplishment of failure.
Yeah, look at your quarterback up there. All your quarterbacks throughout time have choked.
Let me go back to this game, guys. I want to talk about briefly this Buffalo Bill Kansas City Chief game. You're gonna like this. I'm not going to talk about the Swifties or Brother Kelsey's boobies or anything like this. I do want to find though.
There were boobs in the Swift press box.
Yeah,
and we were all sold a bill of goods.
I mean, like I said, normally I like to see a good boob every now and then, but it
had to be Jason Kelsey's. That's not fair. It'd be like seeing mine, not fair.
Exactly. All right, here's what I got, guys. This is the stat board for the Bills and Chiefs game. And this just makes it even funnier to me. And this is the only reason I'm doing it is because I just have this refound dislike for the Buffalo Bills and their fan base. This was the stat board for this game in which the Bills lost. They blew. The time of possession in this game, guys, the Bills won that 37-03 to 22-57. Almost 2/3 of the game, they possessed the ball. This is the Bills. First downs.
Talk about the
Bills. You're right. The Buffalo Bills, 27 first downs in this game. The Chiefs, 21. Total yards in this game, Buffalo Bills had 368. The Kansas City Chiefs had 361. Third down conversions. Get this one, guys. Buffalo, 7 of 14, 50%. Kansas City, 1 of 5.
Ooh.
Fourth down conversions, Buffalo, 2 of 3. That's 66%. Kansas City, 0 for 0. Turnovers, Buffalo had none. Kansas City had 1. But yet the Kansas City Chiefs win this football game, guys. So there you have it, Buffalo. There you have it.
Broken.
And I hope this
bring out the choke.
And and as we said all year, maybe Buffalo's window is closing. I hope it does. I hope that window closes. I hope they have a hard time signing people back, and the people they do sign back aren't the guys. I just,
I think Diggs is done.
Oh, that's Freddy Krueger.
I think he's done with Buffalo.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like every year he has those cryptic tweets that he puts out. What's he going to put out this year? You can't blame anyone else but yourself, dude. You dropped the game-winning touchdown.
Yeah. So there you have it. Buffalo fans, there you have it. Also, guys, I do have a big, major announcement to make today on the show. Stay tuned because at the end of the show, I have a huge announcement. Huge announcement, guys.
It's a Crosby tattoo.
I'm afraid. Like when Ryan has the huge announcements for the show that I don't know about beforehand, I get really nervous. Like
it's the potato chip bag experiment too.
I'm gonna give Derp. We'll give Derpy a Max Crosby tattoo.
You know what? The real defensive player of the year, Max Crosby.
I agree, guys.
Yeah.
It's hard to argue
what
that.
TJ Watt was 2 years ago, if you think about it.
Right.
The complete player. That was TJ Watt 2 years ago. That's Max Crosby this year. The total package.
Yeah. He really is, guys. Max Crosby, go back and look at his numbers. Look at everything. The guy's he's certainly outperforming.
He's solid across the board. I think he leads in solo tackles, but everything else he's he's really close with everything else.
Is he?
Yeah, if I remember correctly, he seems to be right. He's in line within top 5 of just about every stat that everyone else looks at for these edge rushers.
Okay.
He's solid, man. Solid.
Yeah, from what I've seen, he's out there. Like I said, he should in fact be the defensive player of the year. But we'll let the league play their popularity contest. We'll see how that turns out, and I'm pretty sure it's going to turn out the way that we've been saying.
Yeah,
and I'm almost certain for whatever reason, Myles Garrett will be the defensive player of the year this year.
Myles, see, he's going to get it's when that actor gets an Oscar, and you're like, why did they get an Oscar for this one? They should have won it for that one. It becomes a lifetime achievement award. That's what this one's going to. This is what this year's feels like for Myles Garrett. It's going to be a lifetime achievement award.
Yeah,
he probably could have won one last year, but you know what? We're going to give it to him this year as an achievement award. So it's we kind of messed up, so we'll make up this year. It cheapens it. It cheapens it because the guy's a damn good player. Let him,
Yeah,
he doesn't deserve it though.
He probably should have had it last year.
The Detroit Lions, of course, everybody knows they are in the NFC Championship this weekend. They're playing against the San Francisco 49ers. The Detroit Lions, fellas, you want to have more reasons to laugh? The Detroit Lions, guys, have more NFC Championship appearances this century than the Cowboys. Them boys, the franchise, America's team.
How about them Cowboys?
Have not been in the NFC, not been in the championship game this century. And here is the lowly Detroit Lions. They're already in one, guys. So just more nice stuff. This is a good time of year because a lot of people do their trash talking on the Steelers. When was the last time you won? You haven't won in 15 years. Oh, you're going to tell us about your 6 Super Bowls? Oh, yes, we are, because that's the given right that you have once you win them. You have that for the rest of your life. So F off for one. But for two, we also get that opportunity to send it back because, again, we get it all the time. And when you are the Steelers, believe me, you get your fair share of shit talking. But this is my favorite time now. When teams join us on the couch, or they get knocked out, or this team that was meant to go all the way, or Cleveland who's having the super season and they already had their Super Bowl tickets bought up there. These kind of things. This brings me joy. If your team can't win, this is the other thing that brings you joy. And maybe that's why all those other fans do talk all the shit that they do on the Steelers, because that's all you have. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm not going to apologize for the great history that my team has.
No.
Exactly. It's
I'm going to celebrate it every chance I get.
Every year, we want to win the Super Bowl. The team wants to win the Super Bowl. They assemble a team every year with hopes of winning a Super Bowl. And I think we're smart enough to know, we can't get there every year, but at least, make an effort of it. Like Cowboys, my God, you choke. You want to talk about choke? You want to say Pittsburgh chokes? You guys choke hard.
You have all that money. in
You
that
choke
market.
hard. You got like, you're America's team. You like the refs are in your pocket for the most part. The networks are in your pocket, always pumping you up. And this is what you do. You know, you, you have the worst owner because he wants to dabble in that team. He wants to try to be the GM and the coach. It's great.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
It is great. Always fun to talk on the Cowboys because it's always them boys' year. Every year is their year. But again, they are getting beat out in this NFC championship race this century by the Detroit Lions.
And that makes it even better when they, the refs handed the Cowboys that victory when the dude was like, I'm reporting eligible. I'm looking right at you, official. You're looking right at me. Huh? What? I'm confused. Jerry Jones's pocket, his money just appeared in my pocket. No, I didn't hear you.
Yeah.
That's what you get, Dallas. That's what you get.
During the AFC game that we were talking about briefly just a moment ago, the Bills and the Chiefs, when brother Kelsey was out there with his no shirt on. And here's another thing that I thought was dangerous about that. Not only is he a millionaire out there, amongst a bunch of drunk people, he had a Kansas City Chiefs tassel cap on. You know what I mean? It just takes one asshole. It takes one asshole.
It takes one asshole. Like, wasn't he out there before the game though in the parking lot tailgating with Bills fans?
He might have been.
That's one thing I read.
In a text from Mama Kelsey, you might have seen.
Oh
this.
no!
Yeah, it says Ellie said. Ellie must be the daughter.
One
Ellie
of the
said,
daughters.
"Quote: Dad's boobs are showing." This is what little Ellie seen when she turned on the game to see Uncle Travis playing football the other day. He's seen his daddy's boobies. So it is like us seeing Mike's boobs on the show.
It is. It's just nice to know Jason Kelsey is one of us.
Yeah, he's an all right guy.
You know what? That would be me. That would be.
You don't play for the Eagles anymore, so I don't care.
Yeah, your season's over. You're supporting your brother. Yeah,
he's retired, right? I mean, he's
he hasn't officially announced. It kind of got leaked, so
okay.
Yeah.
Your opinion on this, guys? I want your opinion on this.
Okay.
Super Bowl to air the Black National Anthem. The Black National Anthem. Guys, what's your opinion on the Black National Anthem being played at the Super Bowl?
Oh, because I forget what the song is, but it's been played before. It just hasn't been televised. And this year, I think they're televising it. And don't bother me none.
Yeah. It just kind of concerns me a bit. I have no problem with anybody having anything of that. I mean, it's America, whatever. But the concerning thing is, to me, I just think you're right, free speech, and I think everybody could do whatever they want. But again, there is a national anthem that's for everybody, and it really to me it's symbolic of us being a nation, everybody together. Just kind of a bizarre.
Well, if you like the whole national anthem too, does reference slavery in there and
Does
stuff.
it?
So, well, because the national anthem that we sing is just one small verse out of a whole big ass poem. So, it's.
But that's I mean, love it or hate it, it's part of our history and it's part of what we are. And I think that I don't know. That's why I said I'm a little bit confused. I don't know what to make of it. I don't know what to think about.
My thing is like I don't think we should sing any of these songs before the game because we sing all this stuff and have all these flyovers because the NFL football is being paid by the U.S. military to put all this stuff out there. So just play the game. You don't need the national anthem before a game.
I think you know what should happen.
This is not an international competition.
I think 50,000 people should stand up like we all did when we were in school and stand up and do the Pledge of Allegiance. I mean, they made us do that every single day for the first 17 years of our lives.
Yeah.
This is something that we could all relate. We all just stand up, do the pledge.
How about just saying
and then sit down?
How about saying nothing? Just get out there, do the coin toss, and play ball. I've always hated national anthems before.
And I want to make it clear, I don't have any problem with the Black National Anthem. As I said, it's just for a league that promotes ending racism and diversity. I don't know. I think we're more one than that. I think we're Again, I just don't know how to feel. I don't think that it's wrong. I don't think that it's bad. I just think that I don't know.
I just think all the pregame ceremonies and songs are
which is
overblown.
fine.
They're
But
I just
this
don't
particular
play
song,
any of them.
which is fine. But just
Like
this
I hate the
particular point that
national
I'm trying to
anthem.
make is this particular song. Is it I don't know, for the league to promote it in a sense, for the league to endorse it. Where does that how does that make people feel? And when you're saying that, you have to think of people on both sides of the aisle. You can't just say, how does it make these people feel? But it doesn't really matter how it makes these people feel, because it really does matter how it makes both people feel. And I think when you have the national anthem, it includes everybody. And for a league that doesn't want to separate people, I like I said, I'm having a hard time wrapping my brain around it. And I'm not saying it's wrong, and I'm not going to argue that it's wrong, because I don't think that it is. I don't know what to think about
it. See here, it was like written from the context of African Americans in the late 19th century. The hymn is a prayer of thanksgiving to God as well as a prayer to the faithful for faithfulness and freedom, with imagery that evokes the biblical exodus from slavery to freedom of the promised land.
So now the God thing's okay?
Well, the God, no, but it's just like celebrating, from slavery to freedom. So that's
it's very biblical driven, it sounds like. So I mean, that kind of goes against other issues that we have in this league, and so I see what I mean. It's controversial.
Like you dig down into it, like you said, okay, well,
not for the obvious reasons. I think people will look at something or hear somebody talking about this, and they'll say, "Well, you know what? You're a whatever," but that's not the case. Peel back the layers and really look at what we have here as a human being, and that's kind of where I'm running into issues, personally trying to figure it out.
Yeah. Because when you hear, like you said, when you just hear the Black National Anthem, people are like, "Oh, here we go, dividing people."
Right.
And you dig down into it, it's like, "Oh, this is why it was written for the journey from slavery to freedom." But then you find out, oh, it's a religious context. Well, you got people, who aren't religious, that don't like religious imagery being forced down their throat. Right. So it's like, that's why you just don't play any of the songs.
That's what I'm saying.
Have Hendrix, a hologram of Hendrix, come out there and play the national anthem on guitar.
Well, Mike, I think that every single one of us had ever been to a sporting event at one time or another could totally agree with what you're saying. I've probably been to hundreds of sporting events where I had to stand for the national anthem, and I wished that it wasn't going on when it did. But the fact of the matter is, I don't think it's going to go away anytime soon.
No, it's just so ingrained in society, and it's just like, I don't want to hear.
I tell you, my vote's for the pledge. I say we all stand up, do the Pledge of Allegiance, and sit down. There's nothing that every American in this country is not more used to than doing the pledge.
I think before every game, we should play Andrew WK's "I'm Here to Party" or the Beastie Boys, "Fight for Your Right to Party" should be playing. I think everyone can.
Mike, you're not wrong on that.
I think everyone can get behind those songs,
except for people that don't party.
Well, then fuck those people.
Yeah.
Well, if they don't like that, we'll get some Little John playing.
Okay.
Oh, what? See, if that doesn't get you fired up, or we'll have The Rock come out and cut promos before every Super Bowl. I'm down for that.
Mike, as you see on our thumbnail, Mike has what my next topic is: Steelers request interview with Rams assistant coach Zac Robinson for OC job. Any inside scoop, Mike, on Zac Robinson, and any reason to believe he would be a good offensive coordinator here in Pittsburgh?
Yeah, he was the he started off as the assistant quarterback coach of the Rams when Goff was there, and helped turn him into a serviceable, actually a pretty good quarterback in the NFL. He was also at one point promoted to the assistant receivers coach that year. I think Cooper Kupp just finished under just 1,000 yards. Robert Woods was just under 1,000 yards, and they were like 11th in passing, just outside of the top 10 in the passing game. And I think the past 2 years he's been their passing game coordinator. So he does all the help with route designs, which which is huge, especially in Pittsburgh, man. The play concept design.
Let me ask you this: say they hire Zac Robinson for the offensive coordinator, are you left feeling any regret? Do you think, oh man, I wish we would have got this guy? Is there anybody that, in other words, that you prefer if Zac Robinson would get hired, you would say we should have went after this guy. I
The,
really
the,
got
the
to.
one a hot commodity right now is the guy down in on the Texans,
Okay.
their offensive coordinator. But I think if he's going to leave there, he's going to go to be a head coach somewhere. But there's like 4 or 5 guys that are in the same group as Zac Robinson is. So they're all coming out of that McVay coaching tree and one of the other big passing game coaching trees. So, and coming out of St. Louis, towards the end of the year, Faulkner and Sullivan started incorporating some of the runs that the Rams do. So, you know, if he comes in, it might be a seamless transition, because we're using the similar run game, blocking schemes. He can fit into that, and then update the passing. Because everyone complained about Canada, his route designs never got anyone open. We watched, the Steelers played the Rams, man. We saw how open those guys got until Joey Porter came in to help shut people down. And this year, man, their offense performed better than what, they went further than they should have this year. Stafford had another really good year down there. So I wouldn't be opposed to bringing him in, but, I like you said, I don't want to shoot ourselves in the foot.
Yeah,
There's
it's
other
still
guys
early
out there, but there's a lot of guys in that same pool where if you get one of these 4 or 5 guys, you're sitting pretty.
Still very early in the
But
game. Mike, there's still playoff games going on. Millions of things are going to happen between now and kickoff in August for preseason.
And this guy's been another team, I think, requested to speak with him as well. So, it's not like we're the only one going to talk to this guy.
Yeah.
And the thing is, though, if you miss out on him, what's the chance you miss out on someone else down the line, too? You kind of might have to pull the trigger early. If he blows you away, don't let him leave the building.
So that's Zac Robinson, everybody. Zac Robinson,
young and up and coming coach. And one article I read about him, it's like, he's the kind of guy that you get on your staff because, 3 or 4 years down the line, if your coach is getting ready to retire, he's one of those guys that, people see as a future head coach.
Potential
so good,
like offensive coordinator for this Pittsburgh Steelers. This is somebody that the Steelers have requested, guys. They requested an interview with Zac Robinson. So you're going to hear that name here for the next few days into the weekend, I'm sure. We'll see what's said. But again, a lot of long, again, we're still in the playoffs, crying out loud.
Right,
we still have three NFL games left. So there's going to be a long way between now and August when we kick off for preseason. So it's once this time of year comes, it stinks because your team's not in it. But again, you do have a lot of cool things coming. You have the draft. I cannot wait to see what we get in this year's draft. Free agency, who we're going to lose. Mike, that brings me to the next question. Have we seen enough of Levi Wallace?
Oh, when he's bad, he's bad. When he's good, he's pretty good. And when he's average, he's average. He's just that guy. Depending on what type of game he's playing that week. We had games this year where like, oh my God, this guy sucks. But then he had other games where he's, making some great plays. For me, I'd rather, if we bring him back, like reports are saying they might bring him back because the free agency class isn't that great for corners. Oh God, no. If he's coming back, he's my number 3. He's not my number 2 next to Joey Porter.
Yeah, it just makes you wonder what they're going to do in this offseason. We definitely need secondary help. There's no two ways about it. If Joey Porter is your top guy, I think that spells trouble because, come on, the guy's young. He still has a lot of things that he has to fix in his game. If Levi Wallace kind of falls to that guy where he's like, a 3 in this, it's really concerning because, when a team comes out that passes the ball very well, and all these teams we're going to face if we make the playoffs next year, they're all going to pass the ball very well, and you need to be able to, stop the pass. And as I said, you have a potential defensive back of the future. And that's basically it right now. You have an old man, Pat Pete. You have Levi Wallace, who's certainly underperformed. You have a bunch of safeties who can't stay healthy. Mike, at what point do we go after and as you said, the free agent market for corners is not that great this year. How do you handle the cornerback situation if you're the Steelers?
Well, if he makes it to free agency, Jalen Johnson out of Chicago, he's going to be about like 24, 25. He's a really good corner, but he's going to be one of those guys, again, you're going to have to pay a lot of money for, around like $15 million a year for him. and he's a good corner. But
wouldn't you think that that's a good investment? I mean,
it is a good investment.
If
but
we're blowing a third of our defensive salary on three guys, I want a cornerback. If I'm going to spend that much money,
and that is one of the three most important spots in the team: quarterback, cornerback, and left tackle. And you know what?
Because we paid all this money out to three guys that were injured all season this year, and none of we need a corner. We need cornerback help. Again, this is a passing league, and you have to solidify that secondary, and it's not solidified by any means.
And that's what sucks, spending all that money on Watt, Fitzpatrick, Highsmith, and Clam is, you have to skimp everywhere else, and we've been skimping on the other parts of the secondary, hoping the pass rush will work, and it really hasn't. So I'm looking at him, and everyone else I think he's the best out of the bunch. Everyone else, Steven Nelson, he's older, but I don't think he's going to want to come back here after we cut him the way we did.
He looks great down there.
He looks really good down there.
And so does that King. He looks great down there too.
That was like King, man. He bounced around all off season and then finally went back to where did he end up again? Houston again, right?
Desmond King and Steven Nelson both had amazing games against the Cleveland Browns. Both helped to close the win on them guys. You know what? I think between them two guys, we gave up a lot. Steven Nelson, he was solid when he was here, and I'm surprised.
Yeah, because I was
kind of hoping he was going to stick around.
Yeah, because we cut him. Colbert cut him to re-sign Juju.
Yeah,
is what it was, and that was a big mistake right there. And King, he just couldn't make it onto the field in the short amount of time he was here. And he went from Dallas to Texans to here, back to the Texans. So we weren't the only ones to give up on him. We were just, one of the two idiots that did.
And it isn't like we have all this other potential that we're cool with giving up on these guys. Like I said, we have problems. Our secondary it's thin. Let's just say, and again, I think I'm giving the guy more credit at this point in his career, but let's just say that Joey Porter Jr. goes out for the season next year. Let's say he blows a knee trying to make a tackle early in the season. What do you have what do you have as cornerbacks? You have a underachieving Levi Wallace.
Yep.
You have an aging Pat Pete that people were talking about. They'd rather see him play at safety.
Yep.
Then what are you left with?
That's about it. There's not a whole lot of corner depth on this team. You have Trice coming back off an injury. Darius Rush, who was also an undrafted rookie free agent, we grabbed just because of potential. And there's not a lot of depth after that. You got Shandon Sullivan, James Pierre, who's just a special teamer at this point. That's it.
He's not, and from what I see from James Pierre, he doesn't belong in there. We need to move on
from him. He's a damn good special teamer, but I want more depth at corner than on special teams.
Shannon Sullivan, he did some things. Every time he had an opportunity, he came in and made some plays. But again, I didn't see enough out of him that I would think that, he would be a full-time guy. I think, it comes down to a couple of things with the Steeler team. They're either going to go after something that looks sexy to fill in the spot like they did last year and slap a Band-Aid on the situation. Mm-hmm. But like I said, Mike, I just think that you take three guys the way that we do with, that's sucking up a third of that defensive money.
Yeah.
Unless
you got to invest in corner.
Unless these guys are just absolutely killing, which they're not. They're not. Yes, again, one guy did have 19 sacks. Absolutely fantastic and good for him. Where did that land us and how did that affect us once we got in the playoffs? The other guy is an aging old defensive lineman.
Yep.
And again, and I don't have any doubts that says that Minkah Fitzpatrick is going to come back and he's going to do great things because he's only done great things all the way up until this season. So Minkah's the one, that I would think that, yeah.
I'm gonna say, even though, because someone in the comments a couple of videos ago was talking about Minkah, he played out of position, but he's still allowed to make plays. He's still allowed, to make interceptions, force fumbles, and he really did it this year from the strong safety spot.
He didn't cause any turnovers, if I'm not mistaken.
No, nothing. And we're not the only ones pointing this out. Chris Hoke was calling him out. So it's not like we're just a bunch of fans not knowing what we're talking about. Chris Hoke, Super Bowl winner. He's calling him out. So I like Minkah. I think he's a damn good safety. But just because you're playing out of position doesn't mean you can't produce big plays. You're still playing safety back there. You're allowed to make plays. You're allowed to intercept passes. big hits to force
I
fumbles.
am sure
and
the
he didn't
coach
do
didn't
this
say,
year.
you know what, go up in the box and make no plays.
Yeah.
You know what
Now,
I mean?
did he have a solid year when he was in there playing? Yeah, but we're paying you big money to have Troy Polamalu type plays, and you're out there making Ryan Clark plays. And that's no disrespect to Ryan Clark, filled his
Ryan
role
Clark was a
perfectly.
beast, man.
But we want you to be Troy. We want you to be Minka. We
I
want you
to
to be
want you
Derwin
to be
James.
Minka. Nobody is Troy. You know what I mean? I do. I want you
but
to be
you know what I
Minka.
mean. Those
Be the
type
Minka
of
that you
plays.
were the past 3 seasons, 4 seasons that you've been here. That's the guy. And here's the thing: everybody does have a down season. I do acknowledge that.
Yes.
And that's why I do. And I do know the comments that you're referring to. And I think that the person was they were wrong. And I don't think that you have to be Chris Hoke to see these kind of things. I think if just to watch football, you know that his performance has been down. But you know what? He will be back. I'm 100% confident that Minka Fitzpatrick will be back. He'll be doing what he does. It's the other ones that concern me is the aging defensive lineman that has a hard time getting down in his stance.
Yep.
That concerns me. And again, TJ, if he could stop the run and if he wouldn't take himself out of every play, I would feel a little less how I do about him. But right now, these are the 3 guys that should be blowing blowing the roof off of things because of the money they get making and who they are or get paid and who they are and what their duties are on this team. But they're not. And as the person said, well, they were injured. Well, you know what? A lot of people were injured at this time of the year in the NFL. It's what it is. You still have to go out there and play football.
Yeah. And you make the big salary. Guess what? You're going to get the criticism. I don't know where Steelers fans started this thing to where we can't criticize star players anymore.
I say you criticize star players first. Those are the players that you need to
but no, like
first.
we want to criticize,
because if they're not holding up their end of the deal, then that's
we know the punter sucks, but he's not the biggest.
This is what you build your team around is these guys. That's why they make big money.
Yeah, like Dan Moore is the whipping boy of this team. He was a 4th round pick. How about our high paid defensive players? How about our high draft pick on offense? How about those guys get the criticism first before a 4th round pick? I just no, your big money guys get the criticism. That's like looking at the Penguins and saying, "Oh man, the bottom 6 is that's why the team's failing," and not blaming Carlson for not performing or Malkin for not performing. No, you call out the stars because guess what? You're a star. You're a highest paid player on the team. You take the blame. Why do you think Ben, after every game, win, lose, or draw, would always take the blame for a loss, for when he would spread out the credit? Because that's what leaders do, and that's what the star players do. You accept the blame and you spread out the credit. But for now, for some reason, we're not allowed to criticize the star players anymore on the Steelers. There's always an excuse for them. Like, no, you're making all that money. Step up and make the plays.
TJ Watt, Miles Killebrew named to the Pro Football Writers of America All-NFL team. You got to really like the attention that this Miles Killebrew is getting for his play on the special teams.
Well-deserved.
You knew that TJ is going to, it just seems like you can't have a conversation about defense without talking about the dude.
Yeah.
And again, I don't take anything away from what he's done in the whole sack. He's doing great things as far as sacking the quarterback. But if 19 sacks is what you think that it's going to take to really shape the way your defense is and how your season's going to go, these are, these are, like a sack's an extra. And again, it does play a role in, of course, the game. Mm-hmm. But when somebody's running the ball at you over and over, and here's the thing, Mike, it isn't like it didn't start day one. San Francisco, Christian McCaffrey ran to that right side over and over and over and over again. And we refused to fix this problem through 19 total weeks of football. Come on. This dude, in my opinion, Mike, is is this something that you were going to say, let's get rid of the guy? He's, no, you sit down with these guys and, and talk to him and say, listen, dude,
we need you to improve.
Your 19 sacks are very impressive, but there's still 99% of the season left. 99% of the plays that are played during the course of the season that we're going to need you to be able to stop the run, or at least, be in position to where they don't feel comfortable running it to that right side. And again, day one, Mike, Christian McCaffrey ran it down his throat. We refused to change and fix anything, and it did not get fixed, Mike, for 19 weeks.
No, like occasionally, when he would would blow the coverage on that side, he would do one of those where he'd reach back, grab the guy, make a nice athletic plays, but those were few and far between. I mean, you saw how many times against the Seahawks, he would spin it inside or rush inside and lose contain on that edge, and then boom, there goes Geno Smith around the edge. Same thing against the Cardinals. How many times did you see him give up running after Kyler Murray?
If he didn't
No.
play the position the way he did, I am going to go so far to say that we wouldn't have lost those 3 games. Derpy, I would say that Arizona Cardinals, New England Patriots, and the Indianapolis Colts game that we lost 3 in a row late in the season, we took a lot of heat for, and it did affect our season. I'm just going to say that if he would have played the position the way that it's supposed to be played, I say we don't lose those 3 games because he was a liability, Mike.
I would agree.
Sorry, he was a huge liability, especially in that Arizona game. That 99-yard drive. There's at least 2 or 3 times where you watch him run after Kyler Murray. He just slows down. He just like decelerates while he's still in play.
It's like when you're holding the
well, yeah.
the
We want to
sprint
yell at
button
Deontay
on
Johnson.
when you're playing Madden and you let it go and you can see the guy slow down. That's what he looks like in those situations.
Yeah, or like when a play would run inside, a lineman would fall down instead of jumping over the lineman. He just stopped. Or run around. He just stopped. But yet, we want to criticize Deontay Johnson for not going after a fumble. But yet, he should have done that, and he should have done that. I'm not
right.
I'm just saying both need to be held to the same level of standard.
Absolutely.
I
will give one just as much shit as I give the other if I see that this is, if they're not playing to their potential. And here's the thing. It is up to you. You are the fans. You are the people that put your money, you invest your time and your money and your energy into this team. Say something. And you know what? If you see something that isn't right, you don't have to go with the flow of what everyone else is saying.
Exactly.
It is what it is. And if, this dude is making the most money on this defense, and he's sucking up, a 10% of the whole entire defense. He's got to be held accountable. He has to be.
He has
because
to be.
He's getting paid to make plays. And if he's not making plays, then what are we giving him all this money for?
Yeah,
he's a nice guy.
Yeah.
Like
2 years ago, he was a complete game wrecker. He, every snap, he was wrecking plays. And then this year, it was few and far between.
I think what it is, Mike, is when he's healthy.
Yeah. He's a maniac.
Well, he plays out of his mind, and then he puts his health at risk. But when he tries to stay healthy, like he did this year, and he stayed healthy all season, you notice he doesn't make the bigger plays, the more complete plays that you'd expect to see from that position. So it's almost like you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't with this dude, because he's just an injury-prone guy.
Yeah, he is. And, his brother was the same way. Injury-prone. Body breaks down, man. It's there. We want to talk about NFL bloodlines. Well, look at the Watt bloodline, man. They get banged up a lot.
This bloodline thing kind of has to stop too. I mean,
I hate the phrase of it. It is so creepy. And just because your dad was a great player doesn't mean you're going to be a great player.
Like this, Connor Hayward. Do you think he's going to be around for a long time?
No.
I think he's solid, but I don't know. He's nothing
special. He's nothing
special. And if he wasn't Connor Hayward's brother, would have anybody in this city made a big deal about him?
No.
This guy from Michigan State. He's okay.
Guys. You can find guys with his skill set on every team. That third tight end that comes in, that's not really a fullback, not really a tight end, and can do that stuff.
The last AFC Championship game, guys. We are in Championship game weekend. Yes. The last AFC Championship game without Mahomes or Brady, fellas, was 2011. And the quarterbacks that played in this game was Mark Sanchez and Ben Roethlisberger.
Talk about a dichotomy of careers right there between those two.
Talk about a game right there.
The last time that Mahomes or Tom Brady was not playing in the AFC Championship
That's
game.
Disgusting.
That's just dominance.
That is disgusting. That's what, 13 years.
That's miserable.
Unbelievable.
But you know what? That's a credit to those two quarterbacks right there, just to be that consistent.
Now we're talking about quarterbacks. I want to bring something up. A lot of people are bringing up Justin Fields. Excuse me. Justin Fields. Oh man, he would be so great. We need him in Pittsburgh. Listen here, guys. The matchup between these two high pick quarterbacks from Chicago in their first 3 seasons, Mitch Trubisky and Justin Fields. Listen to the comparisons between these guys. We want Justin Fields bad. Has not the Mitch Trubisky experiment taught us anything? In the first 3 years of Chicago, both of these quarterbacks were high picks for the Bears in their first 3 seasons passing. Mitch Trubisky in Chicago was 23-18. Mitch Trubisky, 23-18, first 3 years in Chicago. Justin Fields, 10-28. 10-28. In Chicago, the first 3 seasons, Mitch Trubisky threw for 208 yards per game. 208 yards per game is what Mitch threw in Chicago. Justin Fields, 168 yards per game is what Justin Fields is throwing in Chicago in his first 3 seasons. First 3 seasons for Mitch Trubisky, 48 touchdowns. Justin Fields, 40. 48-40. And then finally, interceptions. Mitch Trubisky threw 29 picks in his first 3 seasons, and Justin Fields threw 30.
They're the same quarterback.
It's the same guy. So for anybody that goes on and on,
I don't know about that.
Justin Fields is the answer. We need Fields. Go bring Fields. You know what? He is no better in his first 3 years. And Trubisky took this team to the playoffs.
He had a better team around him, but yeah,
I don't think he did, Mike.
I think he had a much better defense, though.
Chicago's been bad for a long time, and I don't recall thinking to myself, "Oh, this is a good team." I just remember thinking, "Wow, Mitch Trubisky is winning football games somehow." But again, so there you have it. This is the guy that everybody wants. This is the guy that everyone thinks is the answer. This is the guy that actually performed worse than the guy that was the worst choice that we had on this team.
Yeah, but if I'm a Bears fan though, if I'm the Bears themselves, I'm looking Fields gotten better every year. And this year, DJ Moore, really good receiver, had his best year in the league with Justin Fields. So I'd build around Justin Fields if I'm the Bears, but I don't want to take on someone else's reclamation project.
No,
if I'm the Bears, get him a good offensive coordinator and good quarterback coach.
This is not the answer for the Steelers.
No. But if I am the Bears, I am building around Justin Fields because I'm seeing him getting better year in, year out. It's not, he's not blowing you away, but you can see him getting better. And that team, like you said, man, that team is bad around him. Get some weapons around him. I think he can be a competent quarterback.
The last time the Bears
I don't want to take. I don't want.
And I even shudder to say that was a good year. I mean, that team.
I think Rex Grossman was their last good quarterback.
He was their last good quarterback.
He was.
Say that again.
Rex Grossman.
I want you to say it one more time and think about what you're saying.
Grossman. Oh, I'm thinking about it.
So there you have it, guys. First 3 years on the Bears, Mitch Trubisky, 23-18, Justin Fields, 10-28. Mitch Trubisky, 208 yards per game passing, Fields, 168. Trubisky, 48 touchdowns, Fields, 40. Mitch, 29 picks, Fields, 30. This is not the answer, guys. Listen, I don't care what Chicago does. I don't care if they keep him. I don't care if they get rid of him. All I know is this is not what it's going to take the Steelers to get to that next level. Okay, the dude's athletic. You know what? Cordell Stewart was too. You have to find the right guy. And this guy, he's not the right guy.
No, he wasn't a first round pick. To me, he would have been that guy you take in the third round and you sit him on the bench and develop him. Because like I said, he's getting better year over year. But he should not have been thrown into a starting position with the Bears. But quarterbacks, man, they get overhyped and overdrafted all the time, and he was one of the victims.
Who was the guy, Mike, that San Fran had?
Trey Lance.
Trey Lance. Where'd he go?
He's in Dallas now. He's back in career. Yeah, he's nothing.
That's what I'm saying. These guys,
quarterbacks, man, they get overhyped and overevaluated, and unless you're looking at like a Peyton Manning, Phillip Rivers, a Drew, or like a Eli Manning type quarterback, Andrew Luck, those guys were can't miss prospects. That you take them in the first round, like Joe Burrows, you take in the first round. A lot of these other quarterbacks, man, should be third round picks, fourth round picks.
Yeah,
sit them on the bench and let them develop. It looked like Jordan Love. He was taken in the first round, but he should have been taken later to sit on the bench and learn. But you can't do that.
Talking about some more underachieving, Mike, let's talk about the Penguins for a little bit.
Oh,
Pittsburgh Penguins, they lose another game 5-2 to the Phoenix Coyotes. Mike, the Coyotes ended the 11-game losing streak last night when they played the Penguins. They were on an 11-game losing streak. You play a team full of future Hall of Famers. They come and they get the win. I'm sorry, I was down there. The win, the total or the final in this game was 5-2. Penguins dropped at 21-17-6. Meanwhile, the Coyotes are 23-19-3. 23. Listen, 23, 19-3. They're 2 games better than the Penguins are, and they run an 11-game losing streak.
Yeah, and the Penguins had an own goal. We pulled the goalie. Letang passes back to Malkin. Malkin lets it go into the net.
Crosby.
That's Hall of Famer to Hall of Famer for an own goal.
Yeah, that tells you something. If you're at this point in your career, maybe it's time. Maybe it's time to start moving some people around.
Yeah. Malkin leads the team in penalties. That's all
these guys. All they're doing at this point is putting asses in seats. I'm
like the only one that's consistently producing is Crosby. He's producing at an MVP level again.
Crosby did get a goal last night. Him along with Lars Eller did get the 2 goals for the Penguins. Penguins back in action on Friday night against the Florida Panthers when they come to town.
This is what happens when you're afraid to move on from aging stars.
Some Pittsburgh Pirate news. We'll get into the big news in just a second. Did you guys know that Jerry Goff, who was a catcher in the majors, and also Pat Mahomes, who everybody knows was a pitcher, the fathers of Patrick Mahomes and Jared Goff, they were both Pittsburgh Pirates at one point.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yes. Jerry Goff was a catcher for the Pirates, and Pat Mahomes,
of
course, was a Pirate pitcher. Bob Nutting expects more off-season moves to be made.
Ooh.
Yes. For some reason, he's spending money this year, a little bit at least, and bringing players in, which takes me to the next topic, guys. 7-time All-Star Aroldis Chapman signing with the Pittsburgh Pirates. 1 year, $10.5 million deal. You need starting pitching, so what do the Pirates do? They go out and get a closer, which we already have. One that actually had the most that had the most saves in the National League last year. So how do you justify this? I would say you're going to have, your setup and your 8 and 9 inning guys. But you know what? If you can't get to that point because you don't have pitching, I don't see the purpose. And if you can't hit the ball to get the runs to be in that position, Mike, besides for putting this name on your roster, which I think is one positive, this Aroldis Chapman, what do you see? What do you think about this move?
I think it's a stupid move. Like he had 4 saves last year, 6 holds, 3 blown saves. An ERA of 3.72, 50 strikeouts, 16 walks in 29 innings. This guy has not been good. His last good year was 2021, where he had 30 saves.
I mean, the guy still has heat, and if you're going to use him in that 8-9 inning combo with him and Bednar, I could see that working. But again, that's a hefty 1 year, $10 million. I mean, you could have spent some money getting your starting pitching and your rotation a little bit stronger, which we definitely need. We have Mitch Keller and basically nothing else. And and the hitting, it wouldn't hurt you to bring in another bat. But I think it's the name. I think it's almost like what hockey's doing.
Is it 1 year?
1 year.
1 year, $10.5 million.
So he's going to be used as trade bait. He's going to be used as trade bait.
He'll be used as trade bait. He won't be here past August. I guarantee that. And here's the thing, too. You're putting this name out there, and almost like our hockey team, people were spending money to see names at this point. It isn't really even about being productive. But it's interesting. It'll be exciting, and I'm excited to see Chapman get up there and throw some heat. So that'll be fun. Again, bit of a head scratcher, but also, again, Bob Nutting expects more off-season moves. So stay tuned, everybody.
Yeah, more off-season moves of players that are not that good that we're going to pretend that are good.
Mike, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody about the website?
The2dumbyinzers.com. Over there, we have our social media links, our merchandise store, and the blog. Blog's probably going to be slowing down a little bit now that NFL season's over. I don't like writing about baseball, so but look for some NFL draft stuff popping up there every once in a while. All at the2dumbyinzers.com.
Check it out, everybody. www.the2dumbyinzers.com. That's www.the2dumbyinzers.com. Guys, today just a general NFL football question. There's no playoffs tied to it. There's no teams, nothing like that. So we're going to get started with this. It also is going to be another one where there's no choices. So,
all right.
Got to put our thinking caps on, Derpy.
All right. Here
we go, fellas. This is the question of the day. Who was the last player to be named MVP of the AFL? Mind you, the AFL, the NFL combined made the NFL. So we're looking in, it would be the late 60s now. None of us were born yet, so we're all in an even playing field. Who was the last player to be named MVP of the AFL? Take a moment to think that over. We are live, everybody, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, right here, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. And also the live show that we do every day, we upload over on Spotify and podcast form at 8 p.m. If you were are only interested in listening to the show, maybe you can only listen to the show. Maybe you're at work, at the gym, taking a walk. Put your earbuds in. You can check us out. Brand new, all new episode comes out every day in podcast form on Spotify at 8 o'clock. Go check it out. All right, guys, here is the question of the day. Who was the last player to be named the MVP of the AFL? The AFL, of course, one half of the combined leagues that ultimately made the NFL. Derpy, Mike, let me start with you today.
All right.
Who was the last player to be named the MVP of the AFL?
You know what? Yeah,
and it's a name that we all know.
I'm gonna go Joe. I'm gonna go with Joe Namath.
It's not one of these names that we're gonna have to guess or try to figure out, or maybe Derpy doesn't know.
Yeah, I'm going with Joe Namath.
So, Mike, you're gonna go with Joe Namath. Interesting. I've been working on something here, and again, I'm gonna fill you in briefly.
All right.
On what it is. I'm trying to get to my buttons. If I could ever make it.
Yeah, he's like the only. I like the AFL from that time. Like him. I don't know if Jim Brown was still playing. So I'm just.
Yeah. All right. So, Mike, that's your final answer. Joe Namath.
Broadway
Joe.
Broadway Joe. Why not? Why not?
Joe Willie Namath. Joe Kuth. Joe Cool. All right. Lock Mike in. Derpy. Who was the last player to be named the MVP of the AFL? Mike says Joe Namath. Who do you think it was?
Bart Starr.
Bart Starr. Interesting. Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to lock Derpy in on Bart Starr. You fix my screen back to where I like it to be. There it is. All right, gentlemen. Question of the day. Who was the last player to be named MVP of the AFL? Mike says Joe Namath. Derpy says Bart Starr. The answer, guys, of course, is Joe Willie Namath.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Beaver Falls, right across the river here. I can look out my window and I can see Beaver Falls.
Yeah.
Joe Namath was the last MVP of the AFL, guys. Mike, anything before we get ready to take off, man?
Yeah. A little outside the box for us, but Netflix just paid like $5 billion to air Raw.
2025. Monday Night Raw will be starting on Netflix, guys. So if there's any confusion, anything, yes, the Super Bowl will be on one of these kind of channels before long.
It's coming. It's
not
coming.
this year, but it's coming. There's too much money to be made out there for them not to take advantage of this. So just putting it out there. But as Mike did say, Monday Night Raw will be on Netflix starting January 2025.
It's a lot of money.
Derpy, anything before we get ready to roll, man?
Let's go Pens, and Bucco fans, let's book those World Series tickets.
There you go. I like your attitude.
We're going all the way with Aroldis Chapman.
I got a couple things today. PETA wants to replace Punxsutawney Phil with a coin. PETA feels that Punxsutawney Phil is being mistreated in some way by taking him out of the box, cuddling him, petting him, and put him back in a box. They want us to just flip a coin now to tell us if winner's going to be her early or not.
You know what? Flip a coin, Punxsutawney Phil looking at his shadow, same difference.
Exactly. I just think that's ridiculous. The reason why.
I'm all for. I used to be out on Punxsutawney Phil. Now, PETA, you brought me back in on Punxsutawney Phil.
Also, woman accused of stealing $2,500 worth of Stanley Cups. No, not the hockey trophy. These Stanley Cups, these dumb thermal cups that she stole $2,500. She had them jam-packed in her. She had them jam-packed in her trunk, Mike. The picture, you open up the trunk and it was just full of Stanley Cups, like it was like some kind of drug dealer. And $2,500 worth of them is what this lady had.
That is
and she stole them
Nuts.
all. She stole them all.
Ay, ay, ay.
Finally, it is warm. We're getting a heat wave here, Mike. So I do want to make our big major announcement. Major announcement to be made right here, right now. This is huge. You ready for this?
I want pins and needles actually.
Derpy, are you excited?
I'm excited.
I have
Should I be excited?
big news regarding the show. You ready for this? Mike,
I'm
are you
ready.
ready?
I'm
Here
ready.
we go.
I
Here we
can't
go.
Can't see where this is going.
We here at the Two Dumb Yinzers are are growing the show all the time, obviously. Starting at the end of this week, not even in the near future, not even down the road, the end of this week, we will be taking your phone calls on the Two Dumb Yinzers. This is big news. This is huge news. The end of this week, I'm not sure which day yet, possibly Thursday, possibly Friday. I don't know which day. As soon as we get everything squared away. But guys, this is going to be something new that we're doing, and it's going to be full force. Last time we experimented, then we talked a little bit about it. Taking phone calls the end of this week. We'll fill you in more as the week goes along. We'll fill you in with the phone number, give you more details. But as I said, we are kind of finishing up the process here on our end. But guys, we will be taking your phone calls. I can't wait. I'm excited to hear from the people.
Oh my God.
I'm excited to communicate with the people, and I think it's going to do great things for this show. So, guys, that is the big news for the day about the Two Dumb Yinzers. We will be taking your calls as soon as the end of this week. So
that's wild. Oh
that
my
in
God.
mind.
I like it.
I do want to say thank you to everybody for checking us out. We appreciate each and every one of you. As always, we couldn't do it without you. Mike, anything else? Speak now. Forever hold your peace.
I got nothing. I'm looking forward to some of these phone calls.
It's gonna be a lot of fun. Derpy, anything else, man?
Go Pens.
All right, there you go, guys. For Mike at the Steelers Central Mobile Studio, Derpy, myself, everybody have a great day. We'll be back same time tomorrow to do it all over again. See you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
See you.